Some Democratic state lawmakers want to crack down on compensation and ethics at every state or local public agency in New Jersey, from authorities to colleges to fire districts. The proposed legislation comes in response to criticism of the way business was conducted at the bi-state Delaware River Port Authority. As first reported by NJN News, the DRPA was offering lavish perks to its commissioners and employees. This legislation would end that practice at the DRPA and elsewhere. State House correspondent Zachary Fink has our story.
It started with reports of high salaries, car allowances worth thousands of dollars, and even free Easy Pass rides for employees at the DRPA. However, such practices are not limited to the bi-state agency. And after weeks of critical media reports and calls for reforms in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Democrats in the legislature have introduced legislation to clean it all up.
All of them. And that is the main thrust of this legislation that we're going to be introducing, is that it covers all in New Jersey, those from the governor down to the fire commission.
The legislation is being called a, quote, government reality check. The Norcross bill would ban perks like free Easy Pass, end housing allowances for college presidents, authority executives, and public employees, stop luxury vehicle stipends, and eliminate personal drivers, and it would end government-issued credit cards. According to Norcross, legislative offices have been flooded with angry constituent calls over press reports on what has been going on at the DRPA.
There doesn't seem to be a week that goes by that we have a conversation with our constituents where they tell us, you know, they read in a paper that this one took a trip somewhere, this one has a car. They're fed up, they're angry, and they want action.
In addition, the legislation would institute a zero-tolerance policy on gifts. No public employee or elected official at any level of government would be allowed to receive meals or sporting tickets. It would also address the revolving door policy. Any employee or board member in a decision-making role over public contracts will be prohibited from working for a vendor they have hired for a period of 2 years after leaving that office.
I think it's comical, frankly, that after 10 years of being in power and supposedly watching the store, all of a sudden now they're reformers. It really questions their credibility as elected officials.
The proposed reforms come just one day after Senate President Steve Sweeney said in an interview on commercial television that the reform package would be forthcoming. However, during the same interview, Sweeney defended the leadership of the DRPA, saying he supports CEO John Mathewson. Sweeney's brother, Richard, sits on the DRPA board.
There is no leadership there. I mean, what you've seen there is a lack of controls, a lack of any kind of accountabilities, a lack of accessibility. I mean, when you can't get the CEO to respond, he's the CEO of a public agency. This is public dollars. There is a contract with the public that at least you be available to them and answer for any questions they may have. What they're doing now is duck and hide, and I think that should raise everyone's red flag.
In the Assembly, Democrat Paul Moriarty is expected to be the lead sponsor of the reform. Steve Sweeney had also said that they plan to cap public salaries at $175,000, although that provision does not appear to be in this initial Senate legislation. Meantime, DRPA CEO John Mathewson will appear on NJN's On the Record as Michael Aaron's guest. That program can be seen Sunday morning at 9 and 11 and Monday morning at 6:30. And Jim, we reached out to Senate President Steve Sweeney, but he was unavailable for comment.
All right, Zach, thank you for that report.